Now 0, if that is selected, that should be 0. If this is selected, 5. No, that's too expensive. Oh yeah, we only have 50,000 miles. That's good. So this, the price needs to change. That needs to change as well. Let's go back in there. I think the price needs to change. The first one is trade. The second one is trade 2. That will be trade 2. And trade 3, trade 4. That's for a very used car. So let's run the program again. Compile, run. Let's see. First car. Second one. Yeah. Third one. And if you have 400,000 plus, that's what you get off your car, just £500. And that will be deducted from whatever the costs. We deduct it from this. All of that calculation will take place inside total right there. So if it's 0, that means this plus this. So let's do that now. Okay, I will now right click on this and take care of the total. But before then, let me delete this because I intend to include the tax rates, everything on the total. Get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. Now right click on the total and select action perform right there. Well, if you can recall, this were the local variable declared, and this was the lines of code before. Now I'm going to make them, maybe comment this out for now. Let's comment it out, and right up here enter as follows. Enter the following lines of codes there. So adult will be the value of everything, and that's my tax rate. That's another variable that I need. And here I have a local variable that will store whatever value is inside the trading, and the chosen car. That's the chosen car there, trading. Okay, it's now stored in here. Why that is happening, this, whatever is inside subtotal and total is cleared. So the first lines of code will be an if statement. So I'll start with let's scroll up a little bit. So we'll come down there and say if that is that and there. So the next thing is sign all of the value in here into an array. Then let's use the nested if here. If, and okay, I need to call the names as follows. Checkbox. Those are the checkbox I intend to call. If you can still recall, oh sorry, ComboBox, and the other ComboBox is right here. So let me show you their names. That's trading, and the other one is choose a car, and there they are. So what will then happen is, okay, let's get this one sorted as well. Take it up a little bit and just enter as follows right there. So if you look at it, there's a nested if there. In this case, if the tab outside, so you can. So if the ComboBox and the trading, if they are selected, so this is what I expect to happen. The value of the car is then deducted from the trading, the value of the trading car, okay, and is then added to the car. The brand new car is added to all of the accessories and is stored into add up, and then the tax rate, we take care of that, is taken care of, and then converted to a string, which is then allocated into the object or the txt text box, object txt text box. And the same thing is repeated for subtotal. You can see this subtotal is just all of everything here, and total is then the value of add up and tax. That's what gives us total. Else, this is what's gonna happen. So what I'll do now is just copy all of these and repeat exactly the same lines of codes. The only changes will be this. I'll make changes to this. Okay, let's make changes to those, but I will have to repeat the same thing for all of the cars. So let's do that now. We now have the second lines of code for the Golf. So if you have a look at it, you will notice it's exactly the same lines of code. Let's look at this Polo. That's the Polo right there. If you bring it down, and that is for Golf. If you notice it's Golf, take it down. We're gonna have for BMW exactly the same lines of codes, and that is for 0 mileage. Okay, now for 5,000 mile or 50,000 mileage, so you take it down. It's exactly the same lines of code. The only difference there now is the trading car is subtracted from the value of the brand new car. That's it there. Okay, so we take it down. That's for Porsche. That's for 100,000 mileage on the car. Now for 200,000, let's go down. That's for 200,000. Exactly the same lines of codes. Okay. Now what is left for me to do is let's take care of. It's exactly the same lines of code anyway, so let me just go ahead. Now let's take care of the receipt. So let's see, we enter the receipt here, but let's run it first. Compile and run so that you see how it looks. So if we select all of those accessories, supposing we want all of those, and we want to go for a Porsche. Now that's the price of a Porsche, almost 100,000 pounds, and we have over 100,000 miles on this. So we have the deduction of this plus all of these accessories. If you click on total there, that's what we get. But we also need a receipt. We need the receipt to generate. Okay, let's take care of that now. So there, we enter our receipt there. Right there, we have the receipt. That's the receipt of the buyer, and so on. Now compile that and let's run it. And let's enter a name there for the buyer. So let's call him Peter Small. Yeah. And the address, Human Road. Okay, postcode YR, and telephone number. Okay, now he wants as follows, and he also wants that. Okay, does he have a trading car? Yes, he does. Now click on total, and there you have his name, road, telephone number, and so on. And here, that's his receipt. You can always print that out for him. So what is left is for us to take care of these two, and that will be all. So let's do that now. So for the mileage converter, let's take this back. For the mileage converter, here it is. Right click, let's go into the code there, and right here declare the following. So 1 kilometer is actually equivalent to this, which means if you enter 2 miles to be converted to a kilometer, you just need to multiply it. Okay, or Okay, so you actually, if you have 2 miles, you divide it to get what a kilometer is, and that is it right here. Okay, so if the ComboBox selected is mile, okay, this variable here, the data right inside this, inside that text box, is stored right inside variable mile. That's it right here, and is then divided by this. If you have a look, you will notice to get the kilometer is mile divided by 0.62137. You can go online and just check that out, it's right there. Then the string kilo is then stored into the string s mile is then stored here, and we just enter this to denote kilometers, and the same thing is repeated for this as well. Okay, for meters, for kilometers to be converted to mile. Okay, exactly the same lines of code. The only difference is you then have to multiply whatever value we have in kilometer, we multiply it, which is here, multiply by mile. Then here, to convert to nautical miles, okay, 1 mile is sort of like equivalent to 1.15 whatever, and that is divided to get what a nautical miles is. Nautical mile is actually smaller, sorry, it's larger than a mile. So if we run it, let's run it and try it out. Enter, let's say we enter a mile there.